If you just look at Apple's lineup right now, you can see that they do everything for a reason. I just want to make today's video to go over the recent hardware updates that Apple did and why they're doing them. So first, we'll go over the recent updates that many of us know by now. A new iPhone introduced to the 16 lineup known as the iPhone 16e. This is essentially the spiritual successor to the iPhone SE since the last one hasn't released since 2022. Now, here is where we start seeing Apple doing everything for a reason, like I mentioned. You think they're doing this for the benefit of the consumer? Wrong. They're doing this so that their product has the best chance of selling or giving you a reason to upgrade, which we will go into later. To start, why change the iPhone SE naming? They changed it because it became the norm to know the iPhone SE as the quote-unquote cheap or budget iPhone. So there was already some stigma with the phone that would make some people not want to buy it. So what do they do to change this? Give the iPhone 16 naming with iPhone 16e so that essentially people can say they have an iPhone 16. It's just that it's the SE version of it essentially. So Apple makes it seem like it's part of the quote-unquote iPhone family, like they stated before. Now they can make it more expensive at $600 while being inferior to the rest of the lineup, and in my opinion, it's not really a budget option anymore at that price point. But if you want more from your phone, then you need to upgrade to the iPhone 16. And if that's still not enough, then upgrade to the iPhone 16 Pro. Like I said, Apple does everything for a reason. But I'm not done yet with the iPhone 16e. They're basically making this phone to test how well their new modem does with the C1 chip before putting it in their newer flagship iPhones that will come out later this year. Next, we'll move on to the updates that were given to the base iPad and the iPad Air. I think the product that received the worst update out of all the recent announcements that Apple did was the base iPad, where it only got bumped up in its chip to an A16 Bionic. This upgrade is a bit confusing because you think they would want Apple Intelligence in all of their products by now, but it'll make more sense when we come back to it in a sec. Now, the iPad Air also just got a simple chip upgrade with the M3 chip, which is more than enough for an iPad in my opinion. And going back and looking at their lineup, we finally have a lineup that makes sense, but for Apple. The cheapest iPad being the base iPad with the A16 and no Apple Intelligence starting at $349. If you want Apple Intelligence, then the next least expensive option is the iPad mini with the A17 Pro chip starting at $499. If you want something bigger with more power, then upgrade to the iPad Air with the M3 chip starting at $549. And finally, if you want the best iPad, you can go with all the bells and whistles and go for the iPad Pro with the M4 chip starting at a whopping $999. Now we see why they specifically chose the A16 for the base iPad. What's crazy to me is that if you really wanted to do more with your work or needed specific PC software, then you would need to go with a Mac instead. It's almost like they limit the iPad OS so you don't use it like a laptop. Like I said, Apple does everything for a reason. Looking at the last updates they recently announced, they were the MacBook Air getting a chip upgrade with the M4 and a new color with sky blue, as well as the Mac Studio getting an upgrade with the M4 Max and M3 Ultra. The best update arguably out of all the recent ones has to be the MacBook Air because they decided not to be lazy and actually include a new color with the new chip upgrade. But the best part about the MacBook Air update is they actually lowered the price to $999 now. This is perfect for the consumer because when do you ever hear a company lower their prices instead of raising them, especially in the economy that we're in right now? But just like everything else, Apple planned this out. Consumers are probably buying older MacBook Airs or still on their M1 MacBooks, whether they be Pro or Air, because they see no reason to upgrade right now. Well, now by comparing their old M series chips to the M4, they might be enticed to upgrade, especially now that they hear the MacBook Air is cheaper than before. See how they're trying to pull you in with these marketing tactics right now? Now moving on to the Mac Studio, the M4 Max makes sense to be included as an upgrade, but the M3 Ultra, why the hell is that an upgrade coming from the M4 Max? Why didn't we just get an M4 Ultra instead? I thought we were moving on from the M3 series of chips. Well, do you remember the Mac Pro? Yeah, the most expensive Mac that Apple tries to convince you to buy, even though barely anyone can afford it. They're most likely keeping the M4 Ultra under wraps until they can announce it for the Mac Pro, and then there will finally be a reason to buy it instead of just getting a Mac Studio. But for now, they're advertising the M3 Ultra as the fastest chip available that you can buy right now. Like I have mentioned, Apple does everything for a reason. All in all, looking at the updates that Apple has done, it seems like they'll continue to keep doing more of this throughout the year just to incentivize people to spend more money or as much money as they can on newer and better Apple products, rather than just waiting and holding on to their older hardware or not upgrading at all. But what do you all think about the recent Apple updates? Is it clear to you all what Apple is trying to do? Also, I know this video might be a bit off topic of what I usually talk about, but tech is something also that interests me. I'm planning to make another video that talks about mobile gaming, so I thought this would tie in a little bit before that video releases, and I would make this video first. With that being said, thanks for watching the video until the end, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll catch you all in another MobCola video. Peace out.